You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What is up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 312. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado and hardcore casual himself, Roshan Warner at Roro.
Hello, hello.
Hello, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you, as always.
Can you see me?
Oh, that's true. That's true. We can't see you. It may not even be you. Maybe it's AI.
Oh no, it's possible. I can't prove it.
No, AI could not possibly mimic the wonderful Roshan Warner.
Thank you.
And we are joined by our resident Embark Glazer and my fellow Spartan Gage Dempster at Gilbo Biggins.
ready to glaze.
You'll soon be glazing. One day away from glazing.
I can't wait. Oh my god.
And thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is Halo Campaign Evolved has been revealed at the Halo World Championships, the final one for Halo Infinite. But before we get there, we have a few things we gotta just go over this right now. This is fucking stupid. Absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen in my entire life. The White House has put out an AI image of Master Chief with Trump in the Master Chief outfit. The dumbest thing I've ever seen, saying power to the players, claiming he has ended the console wars like an absolute moron. And on top of that, we have our own Homeland Security government posting an image that says, "Destroy the flood, join.ice.gov," with a picture of Halo CE with Master Chief in the Warthog, and promoting this idea, I guess, that people who are here illegally are equal to the flood in Halo, which they are not, and saying we should destroy them, which is absolutely abhorrent. And anyone who even fucking thinks this is okay is a fucking moron, and this is absolutely just gross as hell. And Microsoft has stayed extremely silent on this whole situation, and of course we know why, because of all the money of those people at the top, the CEOs, fucking kissing the rings of the piece of shit president that we have in office. But absolutely disgusting.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say. You kind of nailed it on the head. Yeah.
I think there was an interview either yesterday or today where I know Microsoft hasn't said anything, but I think some prior Halo devs may have spoken about the stuff that came out.
Yes.
I didn't get to see all of it, but most of them seem like they were also on Dan's side on this.
Yeah.
Did not like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just really quick, it's funny to me that the people, there's not a lot of, at least what I've seen in the comments, there's not a lot of people that are like, this is awesome, but it feels like the people who do think it's awesome are very similar to the people who would say keep politics out of gaming. But they're okay with stuff like this,
Right.
which, okay.
Yeah. And this shouldn't even be a political thing with the flood image in particular. Like, it shouldn't be. And some people will make it into that, like the people who are the crazies, and say that, well, this is okay because of this, and it's like no. And yeah, what you were alluding to, Ro, Marcus Leto, who is the father of the Master Chief, he created Master Chief. He called the post absolutely abhorrent, and it really makes me sick seeing Halo co-opted like this. Jamie Griesemer, which we'll talk about a little later in the show, I've got my thoughts on him. He's, how can I put this? He is a Marty O'Donnell grifter, and he is a very right-wing Republican, and yet he even was saying using Halo imagery in a call to destroy people because of their immigration status goes way too far and ought to offend every Halo fan regardless of political orientation. I personally find it despicable. The Flood are evil space zombie parasites, not pirates, and are not an allegory to any group of people. So credit to him for calling that part of it out. There, he didn't call out the Trump one. He said, "Oh, that's fine, okay,
Right.
whatever." Kirik in the chat, did you know that Halo was supposed to be released only on Mac when it was first developed? Yeah, we did. We do know that. It should say "Come back home" to Mac. I don't think it's coming to Mac though, is it? I don't think the new one's not coming to Mac.
If that's part of the strategy, they have not mentioned it yet. At least.
I think Mac's too small of an audience for gaming right now. Maybe in the future, but
Guy would have words with that, but
yeah. Apple is the future of gaming. Sorry, yeah. Still listening to this. All right, let's dive after all of that. Let's dive into the actual topic of the show here, which is Halo Campaign Evolved has been announced and revealed. Here's the TLDR highlights here. It is the first Halo to ever release on PlayStation, as it is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. It's being developed in Unreal Engine 5 for the first time in Halo's history. It is also using a modified version of the Halo engine, Blam engine. So using the visuals on the Unreal side. It is getting 3 new missions exploring a prequel arc involving Sergeant Johnson and Master Chief. We'll have a little bit more on that in a second. Sprinting is also in the game. It can be disabled in the settings, or you could just not sprint. Aim down sights has been added, which is not entirely true. I'm reading this TLDR from somebody. It's not it's the same thing we already were talking about, Gage, where you press the zoom functionality and there's some kind of zoom functionality, which every Halo for a long time now has had that functionality, not necessarily aimed down like sights. It's not exactly what this person's saying.
Well, it's like how it functions in Infinite, is it not?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's something that I like the sound of personally.
Oh yeah, I don't have any issue with that. Yeah, for sure. Things like physics and enemy behavior has been carried over to the new engine. It has 4-player online co-op, which has been confirmed, as well as 2-player local co-op. It has cross-play and cross-progression across all platforms. There are new weapons that they have announced as well. I believe they announced a total of 9 weapons would be new to Halo CE specifically. Some of those new weapons are the energy sword, which you couldn't pick up in the original CE. Fuel rod cannon, which also you couldn't pick up. These obviously are all that way. Sentinel beams as well. And then new to the sandbox entirely, battle rifle and needle rifle are coming back as well. The latter from Halo Reach there. You can also hijack enemy vehicles like the more modern games have introduced. You can ride a Warthog with 3 other players, so a 4th player can now sit on the bumper of the Warthog obviously with the addition of 4-player co-op. That's a cool change. It has the most game-changing skulls in the franchise. It has new cinematics, which have been based on original storyboards to ensure consistency. They talked about going back to the original storyboards that Bungie created to try to even more fully develop what their vision was. The Flood are back in pure forms from Halo 3. The big chunkers are there as well. The Warthog is no longer indestructible. It will have damage that it takes, which more on that in a little bit as well. But there also is, apparently, from people that have played, there is a skull that turns off vehicle damage. So that is a possibility as well to play it that way. And it is releasing in 2026 on all of those platforms as well. Real quick, let me just go over what additional information we have on the 3 missions that take place pre-reach, and then let you guys dive into this first bit here. So Quest Daily spoke to Halo Studios about the 3 brand new prequel missions in Halo Campaign Evolved, not Combat. They say the missions are set even earlier than Halo Reach and explore the early bond between Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson. And it's supposed to be the type of missions they go on as they were building a relationship over time. All right, so that's a lot there. So I guess first impressions and what do we think about Halo Campaign Evolved?
Bro, please.
Okay. As someone who has very limited background compared to these 2 gentlemen here on the Halo series, I think it's cool that, I mean, we're going to talk about this more later, so maybe I won't talk about it too much, but it's like the platforms that it's on. I think it's cool that it's being a little bit more available to those who may have not enjoyed the series yet. And as someone who has played the first one, I think I played it with Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, played it with Dan back in the day a little while ago. There was a couple of stuff that I mean, it's an old game, so I could absolutely acknowledge why it was amazing for its time. But as someone who was playing it for the first time, when I played it, it was like, oh man, this feels slow.
Yeah.
I have no idea where the frick I'm going right now. And just some clunky things that in the year that I played it, I was like, oh, this isn't extremely fun to play. So I'm excited to see the changes. It looks really pretty. So maybe I try it again, see if I'll like get that spark that you guys had when you guys first played it the first time, and maybe it'll feel the way it felt for you guys when you guys played it the first time with this remake. But yeah, as someone who's not like a huge Halo guy, I think it's pretty cool news. I don't know what it means for the franchise in general. Like maybe you guys could speak to that a little bit better. Like what this news means. Is this good news, or is this like I don't know how we feel about this as as the Halo fandom. But yeah, I think it's a cool announcement in general.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of 2 minds about it. Where everything I saw visually was, I have very little to complain about. I thought the graphical fidelity was top notch, and this is kind of what I've been hoping that something that Halo Studios could produce for a while now. So graphically, I think it looks great. The platforms it's coming to is awesome. I think it's about damn time that we get Halo on to PlayStation and have people kind of get to experience this, like Rose said. A part of me does kind of wish that we maybe got something a bit more imaginative or like innovative. It's a very safe remake, it looks like. That's not to say that's a bad call, especially when you're bringing it to a new platform for the first time. But I mean, yeah, I'm excited to jump back into it again. I think that launching with having the 4-player co-op available, I'm glad to see that split screen is still here and a priority. They made a point of saying it. So there's a lot of little things that they're doing right. But I in the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping for like a Resident Evil 2 remake where it's like we're gonna fundamentally change some stuff while keeping the essence the same. Whereas this feels like I said, very safe, which is not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you're introducing a whole new ecosystem to the franchise. So, yeah, I'm of two minds about it, but overall, my takeaway was positive. I don't care about Sprint anymore. I really don't care. Like, I don't know if you feel the same, Dan, with some of the controversies that keep coming up in the Halo fan base, where it's like every time I hear it, I just care less and less. Where I'm like, it doesn't bother me at all. I really don't care.
Yeah, I think I land on the same spectrum as you do in terms of that. Like I have no issue with Sprint, and I understand, like, at its core, you have to design a game around having Sprint or not having Sprint. So
right,
I understand the idea of, you're including a gameplay mechanic such as Sprint, but you can turn it off. But those environments and those maps are created for Sprint, so it may not feel as great pacing wise. I get that, but like at a certain point, you have to develop what you want to develop as a developer. And like, I feel like it's giving a bone to the people that don't want Sprint by saying, hey, here's an option to turn it off. Like, we know there's people out there that don't like Sprint, but like, it's just, that's where we're at right now. Like, whether you like it or not, that's just where we're at. And yeah, I think I don't know. It's interesting to me, you're coming about Resident Evil 2, because I feel like Resident Evil's remakes are fantastic remakes. Like, I love those remakes. Those are great remakes, but I wouldn't necessarily say that those were like mind-blowing in terms of like changes, in my opinion. Like, a lot of what they did is like modernize them to like make them feel better and like cut certain segments out to make it the pacing better. And like, unless I'm just like misremembering, but like this feels similar to that to me. But like, I, like you, Gage, was hoping for more than that. Like, I was hoping for like, maybe we're gonna get like more additive story elements added to this to kind of give us more context when we go into Halo 2, and we're not just like thrown off with all these new characters and all these new bad guys and all these new features and things that are going on. I think we were hoping for a bit more, and it does seem like they're just basically following the script, but also expanding a little bit. Like, I think what I'm most excited about with this game is from the cinematics we already saw from this demo of Silent Cartographer, which is the mission that they showed off. And like, seeing the scene where Chief goes up to the light to kick it down the shaft, and like, that's such a like iconic scene, because he kicks the light and it goes down. But like, seeing that redone in such a like visually astounding way is like awesome, and I can't wait to see like the rest of the game's cutscenes done in that way, like building upon it and making it feel like this is fucking awesome, like we felt when we played this for the first time in 2001. So I do think that leads us also into the next bullet point here for topic of the show, which is, why is this happening and why now? Which a lot of this is from Mark Noseworthy, who formerly of Bungie. I don't think he works at Bungie anymore. But he gave some really nice thoughts from a game developer's perspective. And I agree with a lot of this. And a lot of this is what went through my head as well. And he says, from a development perspective, building a Halo campaign remake in Unreal is a clever approach to do a bunch of difficult things simultaneously. 1, pivot to a new game engine. 2, onboard a substantially new development team to the IP. 3, recreate time-honored gameplay standards and the development practices and team culture necessary to achieve them. And 4, move to a true multi-platform development. This approach also lets the new team ship something relatively quickly and get those wins while making some money that covers their costs along the way, which can only help improve the quality of whatever their next bigger future title ends up being. A lot of teams would have gone dark for years and struggled mightily. With the hard parts above covered already, their chance of success is much higher. Which that's a really great point. Like, this is only helping them build their next big game in Unreal. And I think that's what, and this isn't to excuse this or say like this is unimportant, because I think it is still important, but I think that's why we're seeing stuff like we're seeing Marines from Halo Infinite. So we have Halo Infinite designed Marines that are in this game. We have a Needler that is from Halo Infinite that is in this game. And that's not to say that we're not going to get new assets in this game, because we've seen also new assets as well. And there's new weapons that aren't in Halo Infinite that are in this game. But I think that's one of the ways that they're kind of not going the full-blown remake approach that like Gage and I would want, I guess, we would have wanted to see. But also it's something that will help them get this out much quicker and kind of fully develop the Unreal Engine Halo, like what that feel is for their next project. Like I feel like this game is more important for their next project than it is necessarily for this game, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I all of that makes sense from the business side of things. I think that it gets a little close to the line for me where it's like, well, does it help the finished product at the end of the day? I agree with a lot of what he's saying, but yeah, I don't know. I think it would be interesting. I think my feelings on this game would be different if this was the first time this game was being remade, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You have the added context of that we already had a anniversary
remaster,
remaster, right? Which this one, again, not quite the same thing. This definitely has a lot more juice to it than that, but I'd say it still kind of falls in that same category. And yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of the business or development side of things, because that all makes sense. But as a consumer and as a enjoyer of Halo and that world, it would have been cool. Like you alluded to this earlier, where it's like it would have been cool to see some like rewrites, not in terms of changing the story, but maybe like prepping, introducing characters sooner than they have appeared in the original trilogy to try and tighten things up. Like just small stuff like that would have been cool to see. But yeah, from a onboarding and getting people familiar with the engine, I mean, that logic is super sound. It's hard to argue with any of that.
For sure.
Just gonna leave now. I will talk to you guys later. I might be able to come back on depending on what time I come back. Okay. But if not, see you guys later.
Sounds good.
Adios.
See you, Ro.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, I switched us over to the 2-person setup, and for some reason, there we go. My camera didn't want to work right away. There we go. Live production. That's what we get. So moving on from there, Keurig posted in the chat. The Warthog was amazing. My buddy and I finished the whole game couch co-op style, split screen on an old 32-inch tube TV. Ah, those were the days.
Also, hell yeah.
Also played it on the Duke controller, and Halo Combat Evolved was the game that taught me how to play with dual sticks. It has a special place in my heart.
Yep. I could argue that that game might have taught an entire generation how to play on 2 sticks.
Yeah.
That game was pretty monumental for the FPS control layout that we all
absolutely
use nowadays.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so digging more into this, we got also some concept art from Entertainment Weekly that showed art for the reimagined section of the mall final battle, which is pretty cool, of the ship kind of broken apart and the flood spilling out of it. It's really, really cool art. And then we got a piece of concept art for Silent Cartographer as well in that same post. But then we also got a freeze frame from the developer video that we got to look at, where people freeze framed on the flood, and the flood looks really good. From what we can see here, the flood looks absolutely disgusting. And then we have the big guy as well, the tank form, which that's one aspect where it's like, this is completely redone because Halo Infinite doesn't have flood. So,
and this is exactly the type of stuff where when I saw that, I was like, this is what I was looking for. More of this, because I think that's such a great. And again, if they plan to do this for the rest of the trilogy, I think it makes sense that you would see these if you would see these enemies, early, especially when it comes to the flood, because these things exist in the universe. So that is one of the changes that I absolutely love. I was very, very excited when they teased that.
So I do have a question for you then, since you said that. So do you think that they're going to keep the remake train going? You think they're going to make a 2 and a 3 and etc.?
I don't know. I hope they do, in the sense that yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be a little sloppy to kind of like release this and then release the MCC collection, and then I don't know what the plan is.
Right.
It's hard to predict. It's hard to predict what Xbox is doing nowadays. They're kind of all over the place. I would like for them to do that, but the problem is that I would like it to be the remakes that we were hoping that CE was. So I don't know.
Right. I think it's difficult too, because like you're introducing, this is the first game. You're introducing a brand new set of gamers to this series, and they're only getting access to the first game. So PlayStation owners would only have access to the first game. It brings up an interesting question of whether the remakes would be necessary. And
Right.
I don't know the correct answer, whether it would be necessary or not, because Halo Infinite, for example, is essentially a pseudo reboot. It's not a full-blown reboot, obviously, because it's still continuing the story, but like it's very much a personal story between,
the spiritual kind of reboot.
Absolutely, yes. And so like if they just continue with Infinite, then it's like, well, then will the Infinite, I don't know, will the Infinite story not matter? It's very interesting. I don't know what route they take, because are they going to do another spiritual reboot for the next game? That'd be tough. I don't know. Yeah.
This is why, and I know you and I have gotten spicy about this in the past, but this is why I say just do a full reboot, because I can't, because like this is the thing. Walk me through it, right? Like they bring CE remake to PlayStation. This is now the only, as of right now, this is the only Halo game you can play on PlayStation. Is Halo Campaign Evolves. And then do they bounce back to Halo 7, and now that's the second game that you can play on PlayStation, and then they bounce back to Halo 2 remake? Like, it doesn't, I don't get it. I don't know. It seems like it's gotten a little too complicated. We've lost focus, so let's just lock in on one plan of attack. And I know that drives you crazy, but to me, it's like I don't understand how we can effectively do any other option.
The problem with that, though, we already had, the Halo fans are already They're already
Fuck the Halo fans. First of all,
listen. The Halo fans are already difficult enough as is, that if you do a full-blown reboot, you will constantly get people comparing the original to the reboot, and it'll just be a never-ending battle. And I think that's why you may not like this either, but that's why I am almost of the mindset where you're going to hate what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. I'm of the mindset where you continue Halo Infinite's story in the books, because the upcoming book that's coming up, which we'll talk about here in a second, does continue Halo Infinite's story. We know that for a fact. And you get it to a point where the next mainline game can essentially be a spiritual reboot again. I know it's not optimal. It's not optimal to do that right after Infinite, but like, I don't see, like you were saying, I don't see another path forward unless they have something like a previously on thing at the beginning that plays that people watch and see, like, get caught up, so to speak. But I don't know that necessarily feels great either, because if you do release remakes in the future, then you just told them the whole story. So it's like, I really, at this point, I think their hands are going to be very tied at this point on what they can do, like you're saying, because if you don't continue the story, it's not going to make sense. But if you do like a spiritual reboot, people are going to be upset that it's another spiritual reboot. It's a tough ask because of the new audience that you're bringing in with PlayStation. I think that's the biggest difference now, is the brand new audience. So I don't know.
I would almost argue that at this point it would be more beneficial to try and get a bunch of new fans than please the old ones. Like I think that's kind of where my mindset is, where it's like I hear what you're saying, and like that makes sense if you want to try and keep your established fan base happy, but I think that's an impossible task. And so whenever I see a company kind of shifting their posture just to placate fans, especially fans as like divisive and all over the place as Halo fans, I'm just like, you know what, why not just start from scratch and try and like build up the brand identity again with a core focus. But yeah, I mean, there is no right answer. That's the unfortunate thing. They're kind of in a position right now where I feel like no matter what they do, it's going to be tough to satisfy everyone.
Right. Yeah, and regardless of my thoughts on a reboot, which I hate, we're at this point regardless. So like, it's not like, we're not getting a reboot at this point.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? With campaign involved. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. Moving on here. So as I just alluded to, there's an upcoming book called Halo Edge of Dawn that is coming out. Kelly Gay is writing it, which she is actually, a lot of people love her books. She wrote the Kilo trilogy. And a lot of people really like her books. And revealed during a community panel during HCS, I was watching this live and I got fucking so jazzed when Jeff Easterling, who is one of the franchise writers for Halo Studios, he revealed, he's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna read off some lines from the upcoming book right now. And Jen Taylor was basically like, what? We're gonna do that? And Jeff's like, yeah, we're doing it. So they proceeded to read lines from the upcoming book, specifically mentioning that we would be learning the new name for the weapon from Halo Infinite, which the weapon is, of course, the Cortana clone-ish character from Halo Infinite. And so Steve Downs, voice of the Master Chief, and Jen Taylor, voice of Cortana, started reading their lines back and forth, etc., etc. And the weapon's name is officially Joyeuse, or Joy for short. So we got confirmation that it is not Cortana, like some people thought the game was alluding to. But to the credit
Some people.
to the credit of many people on Reddit, literally the day after they rolled credits, like you could go back on Reddit on the forums, the amount of people that fucking dug this shit up and posted stuff on Reddit 4 years ago saying that her name was going to be Joy Use and like it needs to be Joy Use. Much credit to them because that's fucking insane. And yes, Gage did want that as well. He was clamoring for it. But that was insane to just see like that all come to fruition. It's very cool. And also, just to add to that before we talk about it, I think it's insane the amount of depth that this name means to this character. So like, hang on, let me find it real quick because apparently my link is broken. I was trying to stall myself for time there, and yeah, I don't know why my link didn't work there. Hang on. Here it is. Okay, so this is from Reddit, and this is one of the Reddit posts from 4 years ago. It has been mentioned that Cortana's namesake is a reference to the legendary sword Cortana in the crown jewels used for the coronation of British kings and queens. The other two legendary swords in direct connection to Cortana are Joyeuse and Durandal. Different spellings due to translation and interpretation. Durandal is also spelled Durandal. It sounded like I said the same thing, but they're spelled differently. And it is the sword of Roland, who is a legendary paladin and partially historical officer of Charlemagne in French epic literature. It is also said to have belonged to young Charlemagne at one point. Durandal was the name of an AI from Marathon, of course, which is Bungie's game before Halo. Very tied into Marathon. So we know this is a legend that has shown multiple parallels in both 343 and Bungie games, because the wielder of the sword in Legend is Roland, which is the name of an arguably more important, or as important, third AI in Halo, as he is the onboard AI for the UNSC Infinity. So if both Cortana and Roland are named after, so Joyeuse was in medieval legend the sword wielded by Charlemagne as his personal weapon, which is such a cool tie-in there. Just as Cortana chose to name herself after the legendary sword of a great hero, I think that the weapon will choose to do the same. And in Halo 3, of course, Cortana has the beautiful quote of, "I am your shield, I am your sword." She's going to name herself Joyeuse, or Joy for short. Of course, though, if she just names herself Cortana, I'm going to facepalm and cry. So just awesome that these people were pulling all this data together. Yeah, it's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Joyeuse.
Joyeuse.
I love how innocent Jen was when she was announcing it. She's like, "Are we really doing this, Jeff?" Very cool. Also, the audiobook for the upcoming Halo Edge of Dawn, super cool announcement that the voices of Master Chief, Cortana / Joyeuse, and the pilot from Halo Infinite are all being voiced by their respective voice actor and actresses from Halo Infinite. So Steve, Jen, and Nicholas Roy will all be voicing them, and Nicholas Roy will also be narrating the audiobook as well. So very cool that they got the three of them to do their parts for that as well. I will definitely be giving that a listen. All right. Now we dive into the former developer territory. We're going to start, because here at Podcast PXN, I like to go to the people who are actually at the fucking event and on site and playing the game and seeing the game and experiencing the game, and not just sitting in their chair at home and fucking saying, "Oh my God." Anyways, starting with that, former Bungie developer Marcus Leto, we talked about a little bit ago, as well for another story. Father of the Master Chief, once again. He posted on Twitter, "My honest impression of seeing the new Halo campaign evolved is this. I absolutely love where this is going. The game looks and feels genuine. It's gorgeous in a way that I wish we could have built it originally back in 2001. It warms my heart to see Halo CE like this." So that's that. And then we kind of circle around here. We also have David Candland, who was a big designer during the Bungie days as well, who posted on Twitter, "A lot of familiar faces in that video. I'm genuinely excited for this release." These are the only ones that I saw, by the way. There may be more that I did not see, so if you saw any Gage from former devs, feel free to chime in as well. And we also have, finally, the illustrious Jamie Griesemer that we were just talking about, which, if you couldn't tell, I'm not a huge Jamie Griesemer fan, but I like him as much as I like Marty O'Donnell these days, which is not much. So essentially, one of Jamie's arguments that he was making, which, just to be clear, this isn't to say that he didn't have any fair points or fair criticisms. This is more so his approach and how he was going about it, because there were many tweets that he tweeted, and he said he followed up in a tweet with me and said that he didn't say these things, and I went back and I'm like, did I misread that? And I went back and I'm like, no, you fucking said this. Like, he was basically saying that these developers are incompetent and don't know the source material and yada yada yada. But anyways, his criticism with the actual game, there's a tree that blocks the ability of the Warthog to get through a certain section, to get past the hunters. And he was upset that they removed that tree. And so, sure, fair criticism, I guess, but like, he was like going on and on and on about it, to the point where people started clapping back with some responses. Like, for instance, the people that were there playing were like, well, yeah, the tree's not there anymore, but the vehicles also take damage, and they didn't take damage in Halo CE. So it's a little different scenario, because you're concerned about the vehicles taking damage and exploding, and like, that's still a concern. And then he followed up with a tweet after people were tweeting him that, saying, "Oh, yeah, I do recognize that. That would actually make sense." It's like, all right, maybe let's gather all of our facts and kind of see it all before we... Anyways, and he was also calling out Marcus Leto, saying, "Look what they did to our baby." And then fucking, a couple hours later, Marcus posted his comments saying he's super happy with how it looks, essentially. And like, don't speak for other people. Like, that shit drives me insane. And that's basically what I replied to him with, and he got all fucking... Anyways, that's a whole other story. Anyways, Gage, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff doesn't really do as much for me. It is cool to see. It is cool to see, just because we talk about how studios, especially in the video game space, especially, studios change so much over the years that there's a lot of studios nowadays where it's like you can be a fan of that brand, but it's like not even the same people that work there. So like, in a sense, it's kind of useful to see how like old studio, the old guard feel about how the new games are shaping up. But for me personally, I don't put a lot of stock into it, just because it's what a former dev might think about. Like, I'm sure that there's, like, here's a perfect example. Marcus Leto could I'm just making this up. He could be a fan of like, hovering and dashing from Halo 5. I hate that shit. So that's like, fair. It doesn't really, I don't put a lot of stock into it, but it is, I mean, I think what is important is to see past devs of a studio giving very like reasonable and like non-controversial takes will never be a bad thing in my mind, because it's like, hey, we all need to fucking chill out in like almost every aspect of our lives, not only in video games but in politics and everything, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, when I see people getting along and giving, you know, balanced, nuanced feedback or praise, like I'm not gonna shout that down at all. But it's also not really a selling point for me. Like, if every old Bungie guy came out and said, "Yeah, we really love this," I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool that they like where the studio has gone, but it's not really gonna get me to buy the game. It really has to speak to me personally."
Right. And I think I think honestly, sometimes my emotions get the best of me because I kept seeing IGN reposting the same shit over and over and over. And it kept saying fucking ex-Bungie developers say this project doesn't look great. And I'm like, here we go again with the fucking misinformation from IGN, because like you're taking the comments from one Bungie developer that wasn't even actually there at the event and didn't actually see it or get hands-on with it, and not like, I read the article. At the very end of the article, there was 2 sentences that said something about what Marcus said. It's like, can we fucking get some honest journalism and not just fucking look for the most clicks? It's just so annoying. Like, and that's part of the it's part of that negative mantra. Like, let's just fucking negative. Let's fucking give constructive criticism and fucking like give the whole story, not just say like, this is fucking the world's ending, the sky's on fire. Fuck.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna be joining. I'll be joining your anti-IGN cause. All right.
Yeah.
After that Arc Raiders review. All right. I've seen the light. I see the enemy within. The real, you know, enemies foreign and domestic. The real domestic enemy we have is IGN. That's who we need to turn our attention to. So you don't need to convince me for that. All right.
Wait, did they release their review for Arc Raiders?
No, just that preview one that we saw.
Got it.
Ago.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But if I'm seeing 6 out of 10s from mainstream media, it might be my Joker moment.
Oh, hell yes. I'll be with you on that. All right. So yeah, you were talking about feedback, Gage. That leads us directly into the next point here. Give your feedback, whether you like something or don't like something. Make sure you're giving your feedback, because it's still at least a year plus away from the game coming out. Like, I think we're anticipating it's going to come out on the 25th anniversary of Halo CE next November, but you don't know that. It could change. And Unishek even posted this out. Halo Campaign Evolved is out there. Now that you've got your first look at a pre-release build, hit me up with one thing you really liked and one thing you'd really like to see get updated. Looking forward to parsing through all the feedback. So yes, get your feedback in. Kirik says, hear me out. What if this spiritual re-release is a story that follows the original, but partway through they veer off on another timeline, changing the game, creating a totally new story that won't conflict with the original storyline? If done correctly, they may have a hit. Of course, the kicker is they don't tell anyone. People have to discover this timeline shift by playing the remake. I actually don't hate that idea, but like
that's the type of shit I love, Kirik. I love that type. That's exactly the type of shit that I dream of. Absolutely.
The problem is, Kirik, you don't have to answer to the Halo fans, because I know for fuck's sakes there's gonna be 1,000 Halo fans saying, "What the fuck is this dog shit?" Like, anyways.
Yeah, like this would be like, you know, a moment to me that would be me jumping up out of the couch while playing. It's like the equivalent of the Colts winning the Super Bowl for Dan would be if I sit down to play Campaign Evolved, and halfway through it shifts to the Arbiter's perspective while he's still in his yellow armor. That would be me jumping up from the couch being like, holy fuck, they did it.
And you know what?
They did it.
That to me would be a great compromise from what we have discussed, because like I am not for a reboot, but like that where you're still keeping everything the original storyline still intact, but like you're adding that part. That sounds really cool.
Right.
But
It would be awesome, dude.
I don't think it's
And
happening.
it would be it's not happening. So I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole. But Keurig opened the door now, and I can't close it.
Yeah.
But like, it would be like, from Chief's perspective, you just get exactly a 1-to-1 remake of CE, but you just add these little levels where you see, and it would be full circle poetic storytelling, because you get to see a taste of like what it's like to see the Covenant losing, and that you keep checking with the Arbiter periodically, and he's losing the ring, and and you can see his forces, the morale among the Covenant is dwindling. Maybe he gets a call from the prophets, and they're like, what the fuck's going on down there? Just these little sprinkles of tidbits before you get ready for Halo 2. That would be so good. Holy fuck.
That would be cool. We can dream. All right. The next piece here, Halo Fest has been announced for December 2026, and they've also announced a concert that is attached to it as well. So they actually posted on here composer invitations. We'd like to formally invite the composers of Halo's iconic game scores from the last 25 years to be our guests of honor at the Halo Fest concert on Friday, December 11th, 2026, at the historic Benaroya Hall. We hope you'll join us and enjoy the show. This will actually be happening performed by the legendary Seattle Symphony, but they are inviting the former composers of Halo's history to join in attendance if they would like. Marty O'Donnell may be running for political office, but by then he'll have lost. So, if you want to show up, Marty, I'm sure Marty's ego will fucking definitely place him there, despite some of his comments he posted on Twitter, putting I forget what he said. Somebody screenshotted it where he said like, is this real or something like that? It's like, yeah, Marty, it's fucking real, you dumbass. The actual Halo Fest event is taking place the 2 days following that on December 12th through the 13th in the Seattle Convention Center in the newly built Summit Building. No matter why you love Halo, we want you and your friends to feel at home at Halo Fest. Come celebrate 25 years of Halo with the whole community. Engage. This is the moment, because I think that they are setting this up to announce their multiplayer project at Halo Fest 2026.
I think you might be onto something.
I think we're just getting started.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Kirik asks, was there ever a Halo Con, like TwitchCon or Minecon? There was. In 2019, it was called Halo Outpost Discovery. I went to the Philadelphia branch of it. They had it at a bunch of different cities across the United States. It was awesome. It was really cool. They had different like setups, like showing different pieces of history of Halo. It had different armors, like Chief was there, the Warthog was there. They had like flood spores there. They had all kinds of stuff. They had panels with Jen Taylor and Steve Downs. They had all kinds of stuff. That was an insane. Yeah, that was awesome. And then COVID happened, because according to the people that worked on it, it was supposed to be a multi-year thing. But yeah, COVID kind of shut it down in 2020. So unfortunate. But maybe
here's the question, Dan. Will Halo Fest 2026 have live PXN coverage?
It might.
Sounds like it might.
I feel like that's the moment. That is the moment to be there, I think.
Yep. I might be inclined to agree with you.
I might be getting on a train instead of a...
How long of a train ride is that? That's got to be like a 10-hour train ride.
10 hours? Brother. No, it's 48
Yeah.
hours
It's 48 hours?
from Chicago to Seattle. It's 48
Holy
hours.
crap.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Dan's feeling. I guess the tickets are actually being released in December of this year, I believe they said. So we'll see how Dan's feeling in a couple months.
Okay.
All right. This is just to add on here since we're talking about Halo. Figured it most fitting to put them in here. Other Halo projects are still cooking. Don't forget about them. Grunt.api, he was actually surprised that the announcement was Halo Campaign Evolved. He was expecting a different project to be announced because a different project had PlayStation 5 in their files. And so essentially, Halo Campaign Evolved's codename is Meteorite. And then there's two other projects he notes here, which is Sugarloaf and also Ecore, which Ecore is the rumored project from Certain Affinity, which is the multiplayer. I'm assuming Sugarloaf is the next mainline game. But yeah, more to come. And lastly, another Halo-related item here. Sandy Peterson, who used to work at Ensemble back in the day, who created the beautiful Halo Wars, posted in 2008, Ensemble Studios started planning a gigantic MMO set in the Halo universe. We codenamed it Titan. It was to take place tens of thousands of years ago before the Halos were set off and destroyed all sentient life in the galaxy. I was in charge of the universe, building, planet histories, alien species, etc. You could play as either Forerunners or their enemies, the Covenant. The Flood, of course, was in the game, but not playable. We had quest lines all worked out, homeworlds for all the species, etc. The lowest estimate we gave Microsoft the lowest estimate we and Microsoft had for the game's total income was $1.1 billion. It was all brought to naught when Don Matrick realized that his stock bonus was based on the income Microsoft had from games in 3 years. You see, we estimated 3.5 years to finish Titan if we did it right. And that's beyond Matrick's drop dead date. So by firing all of Ensemble, he didn't have to pay for our expensive studio for 3 years, and he didn't care about Titan. All he lost was a game studio who never sold less than 3 million copies of everything we made. I don't believe he did justice to Microsoft's stockholders, but hey, Don started as an EA hatchet man, so what would you expect? Fuck you, Don Matrick.
It is crazy. Like, and this is sometimes when I say, like, it sounds like it's a bit extreme, and maybe it is, but sometimes when I say, like, these CEOs aren't real people, it's like sometimes people aren't hired into positions because they have years of expertise in the industry. Sometimes people just get hired into these positions because they have no problem doing the dirty work of the higher ups of going to these studios and just looking a bunch of people dead in the face and saying, yeah, you're gone, you're out of a job. Like, there are some people in C-suite positions that is the only reason they're hired, is to, like this person said, be a hatchet man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Don Matrick, I got nothing nice to say about Don Matrick. Matt Booty, you're getting up there too, buddy.
Yeah.
That fucking who's the Psychonaut developers? Double Fine. That Double Fine clip. Yeah, that clip of Matt Booty at Double Fine, it lives rent free in my head. I cannot stand that fucking guy. This guy seems like he's very much cut from the same cloth. So, super unfortunate. Halo MMO. You and I have had this conversation so many times. I think one of Halo's strongest assets, even more so than Master Chief and Cortana, is the universe. It is such a unique military sci-fi universe. There's not a lot of IPs out there that occupy that same space. I've said it a million times. I would love to see somebody at Xbox get their fucking wits together and be like, let's give Obsidian a small little offshoot in the Halo universe. This sounds fucking awesome. This sounds like it would have been rad. Even if it even if it didn't sort of become the next World of Warcraft, I mean, it could have been something that at least keeps the fan base sort of engaged and active, and introduces people that maybe aren't into first-person shooters into the universe of Halo, and then they start paying attention to all the other things that they do. Like,
Yeah.
I think Halo needs to be doing more of this stuff, and every time a story like this comes out where we had a chance to get something like that and it got shot down, I mean, it just makes me lose faith in the higher ups even more.
For sure. Yeah. Fucking Matrix. I wonder where Matrix at right now.
Who knows?
All right. That is our topic of the show. That took a minute. So I'm going to try and speed through this news of the week. We're running late. Gage, Microsoft has shifted away from exclusivity from the New York Times. Your buddy Matt Booty says, we are all seeking to meet people where they are with the shift in seeing Halo come to PlayStation. And of course, they said all future Halo titles coming to PlayStation as well. So an interesting milestone here for Xbox to seemingly become a third-party publisher.
Yeah, I mean, we've theorized that is the trajectory they've been going, that they might be heading down for like a few years now. So I'm not totally surprised. I feel like I mean, there was a fork in the road. I mean, Xbox totally could have been successful, and I think regardless of whose faults, if there was one thing or just a series of many things that happened, I mean, it's just not. It doesn't have the same weight that it had in the 360 era, and so if it's between Xbox going away completely or it needing to substantially shift its strategy, I am okay with it becoming a third-party publisher if that's what, you know, keeps the life support on and keeps the vitals up. But it is crazy to talk about this now just as a matter of fact, when obviously you look back at the 360 era and Xbox was everywhere. But yeah, this is it doesn't bother me so much, but I would obviously love to see them stay in the hardware business, just because I would like to have a competitor to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch.
That's true,
just because
yeah.
more competition is good, but at the same time, if it's between this and the Xbox brand completely folding, I would rather them do something.
For sure. Kind of on the back of that, we also got more information on what Microsoft's next generation plan is for the Xbox. Phil Spencer says ROG Xbox Ally X is indicative of future Xbox hardware. He said that the hardware that Microsoft announces as first party will be considered their next console, but the ROG Xbox Ally is a sign of the Xbox platform's future. This product suggests how the Xbox software platform will evolve in the future, connecting all of your devices in one place. We also got a report from Windows Central from Jez Corden, who said Microsoft's ambitious new Xbox, your entire Xbox console library, the full power of Windows PC gaming with no multiplayer paywall. So what that means is no multiplayer paywall, so 0 for online. Feels like a traditional console is their goal, and also running games natively on PC using an Xbox Series S and X backwards compatibility. What's it called? What's the word I'm
Backwards compatibility?
The emulator, sorry.
Right,
emulator
okay. Emulation.
so that you can play full-blown Xbox games on PC. And the next Xbox will be run full-bore Windows with a TV-optimized console-style experience layered on top. So seemingly exactly what we've been talking about the last several weeks, that this console is basically going to be a PC.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more bold, and I hope winning strategies that Xbox has. I think there's a lot of like legacy games journalist people that are saying like this doesn't make any sense, and you know, not a very good strategy to have the biggest offering of your new console being that you can play other people's games. And I think that's just a kind of reductive and oversimplified argument. I think that if they can provide something that PlayStation 5 can't, which is that you have access to these, Epic Game Store and Steam and all this stuff, I think that that's going to be a really good strategy if they can nail the execution. Like, from what I've heard about the Xbox Ally X, is that the UI is not there yet. It's very cumbersome to use if you want to do any of the digging around, like adjusting settings and all that stuff. So like, if the game comes out of the if the console launches out of the box, that it's very similar to the Xbox Series X, and that getting to the Steam storefront and doing all these things, if it's going to completely break the system and it's not going to work right and it's going to be a headache to do, then it's almost not a feature at that point. So they really need to pick a direction and really nail the execution of this. If they want it to be something where you can go to Steam and that's a selling point, then it has to work well, and it has to be within the realm of reason that your average, adult that's working 40 hours a week that doesn't have time to watch 20-minute YouTube videos on how to do all this stuff. Exactly. It's got to work. So if they're going to do that, which I think they should, I think it's smart, they got to do it right. Because if the and I have hope that they will be able to do that, because to me, if I zoom out, it looks like the Xbox the ROG Xbox Ally X is very much a test system for this. I wouldn't be surprised if they're taking this one-to-one as exact sort of feedback, criticism, action areas that they can apply to the next console. So I'm not super worried about it, but a lot of whether or not I think it will be good or not hinges on the execution of how smoothly it'll operate.
I think, and that's, to me, what's so exciting is because with playing on PC, like, there's so many barriers to entry, and sometimes we joke about there being such high barriers to entry and having just stupid shit happen. And I think that's an important takeaway, because your average person isn't going to fucking go to YouTube or go to the forums and try to troubleshoot why your fucking driver's not working properly or some bullshit. So I think what's exciting to me is with the full Xbox development team working on this and this alone, no longer working on the console side of things, and making some kind of interface that works great on PC. That to me is exciting, because that doesn't only improve or it doesn't only solve your problem of having an average consumer buying your box that they want to plug into the TV, but it also improves your Windows interface for people that are just buying a PC and want to play games easily and not have to worry about all these things. So like, it's a win-win in both scenarios there. Like, that's super exciting for me to see them put that many resources into making that experience significantly better. And at the end of the day, like, the important thing is making these games great, and you're selling them on, Windows Store, Steam, Epic Game Store. It doesn't matter. Like, your games will sell if they are great. So make great games. That succeeds one point of it. And then lastly here, we have comments from Phil Spencer surrounding the usage of AI. Our applications of AI today are mostly actually on the security and protection of our networks, he said, referring to voice and text chat on Xbox Live. It's now at a scale where you can't really moderate the safety of those with just people alone. The volume is too high. So we have AI that we use to make sure that the conversation and topics that are happening, and for protected child accounts and other things, who gets to talk to those accounts, to those people, is locked down by parents or guardians who are setting those controls. That's our primary use of AI inside of our organization today, which maybe isn't the most glamorous use of AI, but it's something that I fundamentally believe in. He said, on the creative side, I really leave it up to the teams. I have found that creative teams will use tools that make their job easier when it makes their job easier, and any top-down mandate that thou must use a certain tool is not a really not really a path to success. I look at the teams and we make tools available and I kind of let it organically percolate. So a little mention there about AI.
There's nothing worth getting angry about, but I will say that for me personally, I am kind of at the point where, especially a company that's under Microsoft, I just can't take anything they say about AI at face value. There's so much conflict of interest. Like I said, especially at a company that's owned by Microsoft, who is investing billions and billions in AI. Yeah, I mean, this mostly is a fine comment, but I'm just curious where we're going to be 2 or 3 years from now. I'm worried for people like concept artists. Like, I feel like that's going to be one of the first things to go. But
right,
what he's saying now sounds fine on the surface, but I feel like it's just a matter of time before the floodgates open.
the flood. I got what you said there. Floodgates. All right, I'm gonna try and run through the quick bites here because we are running late for time, and I don't want you to be late. So Fallout Day news. We got news from Fallout Day. I'll go over the highlights here. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition has been announced, celebrating the 10th anniversary of Fallout 4, releasing the Anniversary Edition, which bundles the base game, all 6 official add-ons, and over 150 pieces of Creation Club content into one package, coming to Series X and S, PC, and PS5 starting on November 10th. We also got a brand new Fallout New Vegas 15th anniversary bundle, which hit a major milestone this year as well, which comes with Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition and exclusive physical collectible items as well. Check those out if you're interested. And we also got an update on Fallout Shelter getting its biggest update ever, coming soon. It will be introducing seasons, which are unique time-limited adventures, bringing new challenges and rewards to your experience and let you test your mettle against other overseers in global leaderboards. Coming soon. And lastly here, Fallout 4 is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Sorry, that's not lastly. I don't know why I said lastly. That was lastly for that article. Fallout 76 is also getting a native PS5 and Xbox Series S and X version coming early 2026 with optimizations for Xbox One and PS4 players as well. And then lastly, Todd Howard reassured Fallout fans saying, just know we are working on even more. So Fallout 5, obviously, they're going to be working on after Elder Scrolls. But seemingly more than that is exciting.
I certainly hope so.
We also, our next story here for Quick Bites, Don't Scream Together has been announced. It is a 4-player online co-op horror game. The game restarts if anyone screams or speaks too loudly into the mic. A screamer can also return as the hunter, and it is made in Unreal Engine 5 and has proximity chat.
This sounds like the perfect game to play one weekend and then never touch again.
This is a game you buy and then we refund 5 minutes later. No. Mario is flying in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Very cool. 3D Mario. Gonna be in a balloon form. There you go. We also got leaked screenshots from a canceled God of War multiplayer game. This is the one coming from Sony Bend and Bluepoint that was canceled. We got to look at the screenshots, which include a range of diverse backgrounds, including caverns and temples. Very interesting. Then we got Battlefield Redsec, which has officially launched with Season 1 of Battlefield 6. It is the Battle Royale for Battlefield 6. I did play it last night. I'll give you some thoughts in in what you got for me. Anyways, Arc Raiders had their launch trailer, and Gage was infatuated by the music.
Yeah, because when you experience Peak, how could you not be? When you experience what is literally fucking Kino music, how could you not be? It's fantastic.
I was just making sure that my sound was on for the stream.
For those who forgot how to begin again.
Your sound was on?
Yeah, I'm just playing some of the sounds.
Oh,
so
I see.
the viewers can hear it. It is pretty like fucking. It's sick. It's sick. Oh, hearing it with the headphones on,
right?
Anyways, that's your tease. Go to Arc Raiders Twitter account if you want to watch the full trailer. It's very good. Very good. Okay, and lastly, Kojima was surprised to find out that the creators of The Matrix wanted him to make a game that is based in that universe. No one ever told him that such a conversation had happened. Apparently, Konami rather had axed it and said, "Nah, we're good." Kojima didn't even know about it.
Which is crazy because, like, I can't think of a more, like, perfect fit for Kojima in terms of IP than, like, The Matrix, right? Like, it's kind of... Right. What an incredible layup that would have been. But, of course, big publisher getting in the way of what is so fucking clearly a good matchup. Yeah, it's kind of... it's par for the course, unfortunately, but wow.
Yeah. Insane. All right, that's the quick bites. Let's dive into fantasy draft check-in real quick here. No new league. Oh, there is one new pickup. Christian Macias, former host, still friend of the show, acquired Marvel Cosmic Invasion with a bid of $3. If I remember correctly, was that the fighting game, I think?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So that's coming out December 1st. So we picked that up. We do have a couple of updates, I think, or one update, rather. The Outer Worlds 2 released. Woo! That game released. It is sitting at an 82 on OpenCritic, which gives Gage's team 12 points. And more importantly, it gives Dan's team minus 12 points because Dan was a dumbass. Just to be clear, I fucking have been excited about this game and anticipating for a long time. I just made a mistake and thought it was just delayed when I picked it up, and I can't drop it.
Mistake to make for somebody who claims to like the game. That's all I'm going to say.
It wouldn't let me drop it, whatever. But we also have Arc Raiders coming out tomorrow and Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake. Which Dragon Quest has reviews as well. Ro has an 86 on OpenCritic, giving him 16 points for that game. Arc Raiders does not have reviews yet. I imagine they're not going to come out until the game's officially launched, so that people can play in the real world environment. But all that being said, the new standings: Christian in first with 191 points. I'm in second with 138 points, just barely. Gage in third with 134 points. Ro in last with 128 points. Stay tuned. All right, and lastly here, what you got for me? Damn, what you got for me? I'll go real quick because we are short on time. The Outer Worlds 2, I've started. I'm about 5 to 6 hours in, maybe 7 hours. I lost track. Very much enjoying it thus far. Very much more Outer Worlds, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And I'm excited to continue playing it. And I will not set it down for you people out there. I'm off work next week. I'm going to be playing it. So very good. Excited to play more of it. Battlefield 6 Redsec I played as well. I enjoyed the little bit I played last night. I got randomly matched with someone, and then I played a few matches with them to try to keep a little bit of consistency. I had fun with it. Do I prefer it over normal multiplayer? Probably not, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And one of the things I was upset about is it affects my KD spread. So I died like in the beginning a couple of times, and I noticed after the match it affects your KD spread, and I'm like, well, that's bullshit. Anyways, also I played the new season of Halo Infinite, which, to their credit, I'm glad they finally did this. I wish it was a thing from the get-go, but you can now buy all of the Halo 5 armors for Fireteam Osiris. You can either buy it with credits, which are the thing you buy with real money, or you can buy with Spartan points, which you earn in the game. So very cool that they have finally introduced something that you can do either or. It's great. Gage, what you got for me?
Dan, not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
I played a little bit of Battlefield 6 on the weekend, which is fine. I noticed that whether it's justified or not, it's manifesting in reality. I am enjoying the game less now that the skins are in the game.
Oh,
it is adversely affecting my enjoyment. It no longer feels like I'm part of an army.
Come on.
Listen, part of the praise that all three of us, me, you, and Christian, gave this game was the immersiveness. And there's still a lot of other things to enjoy. A lot of those things that I praised are still good, but that immersiveness was such a huge part of it. And now that is one key factor that has been totally taken away. I am now immediately looking for the little red icons above characters' heads to determine who's on my team and who's not, because I can't fucking tell anymore. So I am significantly enjoying it a lot less. With all this stupid nonsense. And funny enough, I was lying in bed the other day, and I was thinking to myself, should I just, if this shit's gonna be in every shooter, should I just go play Call of Duty? Because at least they're not ashamed about it. Like, I don't know. It's
what? Hold on.
I actually thought that to myself.
Hold on. Wait a minute. The Battlefield skins are nowhere near Call of Duty. Nowhere near.
Not yet, dude. But look at how quickly it took them to apparently remove any sort of grounded ideas. I don't know.
I don't
know.
I wouldn't say they're not grounded. They're not military-esque, but I wouldn't say, like, it's not like, I don't know. It's all debate. Anyways, we've had this debate a million times. I think the problem is they need the fucking option in there to allow people to turn it off. Like, allow people to just turn it off.
Everything, and it would solve it immediately.
Right.
Everybody except for your character appears in default skins. That would immediately fix everything. But they're not going to do that because you're not going to have these kids advertising the battle pass to everyone else.
Or include your own skin. You know, everyone has all the same.
Right. Yeah. Something like that would be great, but
we'll see.
I
hear your argument, but it's not Call of Duty. It's not Call of Duty level.
Not yet.
All right. I think that will do us, Gage. Anything else?
That's it, man.
Before we close out,
stay tuned for what you got for me next week when I spend an hour and a half talking about Embark and everything they do right.
Yeah, stay tuned for we're both going to be talking about them, right?
That's true.
I mean, Arc Raiders and Outer Worlds 2. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in those worlds next week. But until then. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Gage. Thank you, Ro, who had to pick up his little sister. He will return. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
Adios.